Hey everybody. So, as you can tell by the title, this story that I am about to tell you is about me being diagnosed with peripartum cardiomyopathy, also known as PPCM. So, I have some questions here that I will go through, hopefully, really quickly and answer for you guys. And I hope that the information that I do provide and the insight that I give you on my particular situation can help you understand better. And if you're having any of the symptoms that are described and you just had a child, please go and seek medical help and ask your doctors for any information that they may have. And especially, I'm starting to see a common thing of if your doctor is feeling like there's nothing wrong with you, don't be afraid to get a second, third, fourth, fifth opinion. So, with that being said, I'm going to get into this video. PPCM, by definition, that I have here is peripartum cardiomyopathy, also known as postpartum cardiomyopathy. It is an uncommon form of heart failure that happens during the last month of pregnancy or up to 5 months after giving birth. I'm kind of iffy at this point on the uncommon because I'm starting to see that it is a common thing. But yes, by definition, that's what it is. I was diagnosed July 29th, 2018, a month after I had my son. The signs that I had before were signs that we thought were just regular pregnancy, but in all actuality, looking back on it was signs of the peripartum cardiomyopathy happening. So I had a difficult time catching my breath a lot. It got to a point where just going to the store was a hassle, going from the car to the store, or even from the car to the front door of my mom's house was draining. Okay. At the stores, I had to use the electronic push around carts. I tried to push myself to actually walk more and exercise more, but that just really was not happening because I could put my feet up and literally as soon as they hit the floor, there was swelling. And swelling was the other sign that I had because my body was just retaining so much water. And as a matter of fact, I will insert pictures here and here. And these are actually a month apart from each other. And the one that is in May is where it started to show that I was just like really retaining a lot of water, and that was around the time that I started having more difficulty. And then the one that's in June is literally 13 days before I had to go in and have an emergency C-section for my son. So those two symptoms were the biggest ones that I was concerned about, as well as my blood pressure kept rising and falling. So I was put on kind of like a partial bed rest to where I was only allowed to go to work and home. And that lasted for about 3 months or so just to see how my blood pressure did. And it started to come down, but yeah, like right after I had my son, it spiked up again. So those three things, the swelling, the being out of breath, and my blood pressure going up and down were three concerns throughout my pregnancy. After my diagnosis on July 29th, I ended up being in the hospital for 4 days. I think it was 4 going on 5 or 3 going on 4, something like that. They put me on Lasix, which is a water pill. And I'm not sure how much fluid they took off, but That first day, I was literally just going back and forth to the bathroom, and it was a lot. I had to do a blood thinner because I was on the cardiac floor. So they were letting me know that that was just one of their precautions, that we had to do blood thinners and, to keep blood clots and all that stuff from happening. There were other medications that they put me on. I was already on blood pressure medication from when I had my son, because it took 2 days or so for my blood pressure to go down once I had the C-section with him. So while I was in the hospital, I don't know if anybody else has experienced this. If you have PPCM or went through it and you have had this happen to you, please let me know. So far, we're thinking that this happened because I was like really stressed out. It was a lot going on, and then all the medications that they started me on. But I lost like half of my vision. So if I'm looking at you face on, this side over here, I could not see. And this side was visual. So anytime I turned, just this side over here was blacked out. And it was like that for a few hours. I went down and did, I believe it's a CAT scan, and they didn't find any like abnormal things happening with my brain or anything. So it was crazy. Like even they couldn't understand it or explain it to me. But yes, I was breastfeeding at the time as well. So there's a period where I couldn't breastfeed, and that was crazy. It was a lot that happened after. And of course you get all your doctors. I had to go to a kidney specialist. I had to do my cardiologist. I don't know. That's another thing too that I've noticed is I have a really difficult time remembering stuff. Okay, even simple things like you just saw right there, where I go to my cardiologist all the time. I talk to him on a regular basis, and I still forget the name of things. Okay, so frustrating, but I'm working through it. So, I did kidney specialist. I did cardiologist. I, of course, got a regular doctor and my OB and all this stuff. So everybody is aware. They're all in network with each other and communications with each other on my health and things like that. So if I get tested in one place, it gets sent to another, and vice versa. In regards to can you recover from this? Yes, you can. You will be, or you are considered recovered when your ejection fraction is 50% or more. Mine's when I was diagnosed was 10 to 15%. And currently I am not recovered yet because my EF was 25% when we checked up on it a few months ago. What's next is I am now looking to have a pacemaker with a defibrillator put in. What that is, if you have not heard of it, is a device that will go into my chest and will be basically connected to my heart, to where if there's ever a time where my heart is beating irregularly, or if I just flat out pass out or anything like that, it will, number one, help my heartbeat if it's irregular, or it will shock me to revive me while there's nobody around, basically. So as scary as it sounds, trust me, I'm scared too. But I am actually looking forward to it now after having a few months to just like process everything, because that gives me a sense of comfort, and knowing that if something does happen, and say for instance it's just me and my son, that I am going to be covered. I will be okay. That's like my biggest fear is something happening to me while it's just me and him, because we do stay by ourselves, and him being here by himself. And he's only one at this point, so there's really not much that he can do. And that's just, it terrifies me. Like, I would never want him to see me like that. At the moment, I am having a lot of things dumped on me at one time, as well as this whole situation, as far as like the surgery and stuff like that. So I will be doing a GoFundMe page, to where if you are willing, if you're wanting to help out, you can do a donation to help with the funds necessary for the surgery. And I will also be making products. So there is about like 2 or 3 that I have in mind, but I will be posting them once they're ready, on my Facebook, on my Instagram, and of course there will be updates on the GoFundMe page if you are following that. I will be doing the surgery in June, so there's no rush to be like, oh, let me hurry up and get this. I am planning on doing the surgery in June of this year of 2020. So if you are seeing this after June of 2020, most likely I will not have the GoFundMe, and this video will serve the purpose solely to educate other people on what to look for, what to be concerned about, and things like that. So yes, I think that pretty much concludes this video. And if you do get a chance to help out, especially if it's anonymous, thank you so very much, because this is obviously very, very important, and it's just a lot to take in. Thank you guys.